Today I wanted to talk about watercolors and doodling. So I'm going to go over the materials that I use for watercolor, the paper that I use, the colored pencils that I use, and then I'm going to give you a demonstration on how I practice doodling with watercolors and pencils and pens and that kind of thing. The first thing I wanted to talk about was kind of watercolor paint that I use. I use basically any brand that I could find in the tubes. That's how I started, but what I ended up doing was buying myself a watercolor palette that I really like. This one I got off of Amazon, and it comes with a large variety of colors. So that's why I bought this. And I actually find these colors and this watercolor paint really bright and colorful, and it's great for a beginner. So I don't really use watercolor as much as I use acrylic, but especially around Christmas time, I like to create Christmas cards and paint trees and all that kind of thing. So I use watercolor paint for that. Next on my list is watercolor pencils. When I first started painting, this was so many years ago, but I think I bought every brand of watercolor pencils. So I have a huge variety of water-soluble color pencils that are also great to use when you're painting and doodling with watercolor. The next thing to think about when you're using watercolor paint is what kind of paper you want to use. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I have painted using watercolor on old books, and I have a whole video on old books and how I use them to create art but also paint on. So I use basically any paper, but if I'm doing like a Christmas card or something that I want to give to someone, I'm using real watercolor paper. I like this new Soho series sketchbook for watercolors, for just doodling. So this is suitable for watercolor pen, color pencils, and this is really, it's a great price point. The other paper that I like that you could buy is Strathmore. You can get large sheets of paper. You can just buy one sheet at a time and cut it up to your size, or you can buy a Strathmore book filled with watercolor paper. But I actually find that this works really well, and I really like the size of this, so I don't need to cut it. It's the perfect size for grabbing and taking it with you, or even doing a Christmas card or a card of any kind using watercolor paints and doodling. When it comes to paintbrushes, I just pick up whatever watercolor paintbrushes I can find in different sizes. I'm just gonna flip the camera over and I'm gonna get started with some art doodling, and you can just watch the process unfold. And I encourage you to practice your own watercolor painting and doodles and share your tips and tricks in the comments below. So we're gonna get started. feel really happy with the colors that I chose and the mark making. So I'm gonna stop now. And if I ever want to make a change to it, I could just leave it for a few days, go back to it. And then if I decide that I want more, then I will paint more.